All right. Good morning, everybody. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers, and this is our morning monthly ecom planning session. So, again, I'm your host on this awesome journey, and my passion is helping people definitely be successful on this e commerce journey, helping them to get organized, get focused, to be consistent, helping them to make the progress that they want to make in their business, whatever their goals happen to be. And so, if that's you, I'm here for you. And I'm excited about your journey. Of course, I'm excited about mine. So, if you need some support, some assistance, some guidance on this journey, you're more than welcome to join us. Join me in the e commerce planning Facebook group. Today, you can download the monthly ecom planning session from the e commerce planning Facebook group. And you're welcome to schedule a free 20-minute coaching session with me so we can sit down and go over your plans for the next month, for the next quarter, for Q3, for Q4. Let's put together a schedule that's going to help you to be successful. One that's hopefully going to be easier for you to follow, easy for you to update, easy for you to maintain on this journey. So that's my goal, my objective, my wish for you. I so you can go to ecommerceplanning.com, click on freebies, and schedule your free 20-minute coaching session. In addition to that, if you haven't grabbed the ecom planner, a lot of the stuff we're going to be covering today is definitely already outlined in the My Ecom Planner. So you can type all this stuff or enter it, write it down manually in your ecom planner. You can go to myecomplanner.com to purchase the ultimate e-commerce planner. And you can get the digital version or you can get the physical version, whichever one you prefer. But definitely grab the ecom planner. If not, grab a notebook and let's go through everything we need. So you need to get a notebook, you need to get a pen. You may want to listen to the replay of this to help you to make sure you've identified everything, because the goal is for us to make some very intentional decisions about our future success. And the way to do that is you're going to have to do a little bit of research today and some analysis. If you've been updating this information in your ecom planner, then it makes it a whole lot easier because you can just flip through it, get the information, and go on. The other thing is that if you need some support along the journey, you can join eCom Sellers Academy. It is $17.99 a month. You get 20 retail and online arbitrage leads every week, 20 wholesale supplier list leads every single week. So you can use that to go establish your wholesale accounts. In addition to that, you will gain access to our library of over 200 training videos, our private Facebook group, our membership site. You'll be able to participate in our weekly live training session and weekly live Q&A. So you can go to ecomsellersacademy.com to do that. So I am presenting my screen or sharing my screen inside the e-commerce planning Facebook group. You can go directly there, go to the files section, download the monthly planning checklist so that you will know exactly what you need to do to prepare for next month and for next quarter. We host these sessions, the monthly planning sessions, the last Sunday of every month. So this is the last Sunday of the month. So we don't host them every week, just the last Sunday of the month. So you might want to put that on your calendar. If this is helpful to you, share this out with a friend. We are live again on Clubhouse. We're also live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. So you can share it out, let others know about this awesome information to help them to make decisions in their e-commerce business as well. You're also welcome to join us on the daily ecom planning session. It's about 20 to 30 minutes every single morning, really. So it'd be around 15. We've got to get back down to 15. But anyway, it's 15 minutes in the morning. And then you're also welcome to join us on the weekly planning session. The weekly planning session is over an hour. So it's on Saturdays, but it's designed to help you make some decisions about the week coming up. So all of this you can track inside your My Ecom Planner. So go grab that. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do in this monthly planning session as I share my screen is we're going to go through and do some monthly analysis. There's multiple steps in this. So in this monthly analysis and review, the first thing that we're going to do is step one of this process is we're going to review and audit the month that is ending or just ended. So we are coming up on the end of June. And we're going to review a bunch of different things. So, what did you complete? What did you not complete? What did you accomplish or learn? Did you meet or reach all of your goals? And what needs to be added to next month? So, in the econ planner, my econ planner, there's a couple of sections that are in there. Um, there's your top goals for the month. And so, again, we establish goals every single month. What are the main goals for the month? The things that you want to accomplish or get done in your business. What are the income producing goals? If you had a set of income producing goals for the month, so maybe you had some stats that you wanted to reach. What are your administrative or VA, if you have a virtual assistant, or operational related goals for the month? And so, again, we establish those inside the ecom planner, or you can write them out yourself. What were your marketing or ads, sales, promotions? What were those goals for the month? So maybe, you had a goal to, some people, they run sales daily. So, in other words, to help feed the algorithm that is the platform. So, if one of your goals was to offer one sale daily every day of the month, did you reach that? So, we're going through and we're assessing what did we do as far as the goals that we established, what did we not get done? And then what were your weekly priorities? And that's flipping through your my ecom planner. And, what were your priorities? What were the habits? Did you actually track your habits every single day, every single week? So you'd have multiple pages on that inside your My Econ Planner. Your daily goals. So your daily goal is like that one thing that if everything goes wrong today, what's the one thing, the main thing that needs to get done today, no matter what? What's the priority for the day? And sometimes the priority of the day has nothing to do with your e-commerce business, and sometimes it does. So I'll give you an example. There's a couple of times where my priority for the day happened to be something related directly to my kids. One was to make sure that we get the teacher appreciation gifts done. And so that was the priority for the day. If nothing else got done, those had to get out. Another was to schedule my son's EEG. My autistic son has seizures. And so it was important for me that day to not forget, no matter what happens today, I got to get that EEG scheduled. It's a 24-hour evaluation with the doctor. So your daily priority in some cases has nothing to do with your business. And it's okay that it has nothing to do with your business. You just need to be prepared for that. Then other daily goals, your daily stats. So every day, if you flip through your My Ecom Planner, you have some stats that you're keeping track of. How many listings did you create? How many listings did you rework? What were your sales? What were your expenses? What was your mileage? What were your profits? What were your ads? How many hours did you work in your business? There's a bunch of different stats that are inside of the My Ecom Planner. And so, did you actually populate that? And when you flip through it, do you have data there or do you have blanks? Is there some stuff missing? So we want to go through and we want to assess that. In addition to that, we're going to take all the information that we have evaluated throughout the My Ecom Planner for the month of May, and we're going to go ahead and populate that into our lessons learned section. So we're going to summarize it and make a note in the lessons learned section, and our wins or accomplishments for the month section. So our lessons learned may be that you discovered that you weren't able to keep up with your weekly habits for whatever reason. Some things happened, that maybe one of your weekly habits was not sustainable, from a daily standpoint. Maybe there's some lessons learned around your ads or promotions, and it's okay. The goal is to learn from that so we can build better goals for the next month. So we're going to document all this stuff in the lessons learned. And then the things that you were able to accomplish, complete, succeed at, let's document that as well. We're going to document our wins along this journey. The things that we were able to accomplish or complete, the things that we were able to successfully do. Let's celebrate that and let's make a note of that, because those are the things worth celebrating for sure. So you summarize after you've documented the lessons learned and your accomplishments or wins for the month. Then you're going to put some information in looking forward. The information that you put in looking forward may be some things that you learned from June or some ideas or thoughts that you have about June, so that way you don't forget those things as you prepare to establish new goals for the month of June. Okay? There could be tasks that you're going to carry forward into the month of June as well. So step two of this process is you're going to review inside your My Ecom Planner, or if you've got your own notebook, you're going to review or look through your ideas, your thoughts, your plans. So I keep a notepad open available on my phone that I just click on. If I if I'm outsourcing and I see a product idea, if I'm sitting at my desk and I see a product idea that just flashes across my screen, I'm gonna make a note of it because it's probably something that I potentially want to create or source in the future. So, an example this month, I made a note about a plant holder, that has a little face on it, which I thought was really cute. And, there's certain times of the year where people are really about getting their plants and putting plants indoors. And so having a plant on your desk, keep people calm, focused, whatever. And this one had a little face on it. And so depending on what type of plant you put inside there, your plant, the top part of the plant or the plant itself will become the actual hair for this face. I thought that was really cute. So that's a great print on demand idea. And so I made a note of it. So inside your My Econ Planner, you've got your brainstorming notes section. You also have some regular just notes section. So you have a couple of different notes section where you can just make note of these things as you come across them. You can also make notes about sourcing ideas. So if I know which print on demand company allows me the opportunity to create something like that, then I will make a note of that particular company. I'll also make a note of that plant idea. Personal notes. There may be some personal notes that you've written down this last month that you again came across something, maybe an idea, maybe you want to plan for in the month of June. Maybe you're going on vacation the last week in June. And so therefore you made a note in May to, I don't know, get the car checked 2 weeks before the trip. So then that way you don't have any surprises, check the tires, get the oil changed, all that other fun stuff. So you could have some personal notes in there, calendar notes, any notes that you made in the month of June that are pertaining to the calendar. So you're going to go through and again, flip through your My Econ Planner and pull that information out as well. So any calendar notes for the month of June or any calendar notes for the month of May that will impact or affect June, you want to identify that stuff. And then all of those notes that you have been writing in different places inside your My Econ Planner, you're going to go ahead and populate that in the looking forward section of your Econ Planner. So now you have 2 line entries inside the looking forward section of your My Econ Planner to help you to make better decisions for the month of June and for quarter 2. Now, here's the deal. We are talking about June. You still have time to finish strong in the month of May. You still have time to create listings. You still have time to identify products, to ship products to your customers, to source new products. Like you still have time to finish strong for the month of June. So you've got today, which is Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Finish strong. Focus on those things as well. This is just preparing you for the month of June. So don't forget, our goal is to finish strong for the month of May. Okay. Step 3 of this process is now we're going to go through and we're going to talk about or look at your month-end tasks. Now, this one you may actually not do until next week. And the reason you might not do it until next week is because some of it involves running month-end reports. And since the month is not over, then you still have some data to collect. You still have some action to take. You still got some work to do. So when you do get to this place, step 3 may be delayed as of today, but you can make a note of what you are going to eventually do. And you can decide maybe next Saturday you execute step 3, or maybe next Wednesday you execute step 3. I have no idea when you want to do it, but you are going to put this on your calendar today that you're going to execute step 3 of the ecom planning process. So step 3 is going through and running your month-end reports for your platform, depending on what platform. And maybe there are no month-end reports for your platform. Again, I don't know what method of e-commerce that you're doing. So whatever reports are available or information you can extract from that platform, we're going to do that. We're going to prepare for tax filings or to send the information to our accountant. So if you've been collecting information about your sales, your expenses, all of that stuff, you're going to prepare to send that information to your accountant. I'm going to give you a quick tip that I've used over the years. that I think is helpful when it comes to preparing this information to go to your accountant for your month end planning, your month end closeout session, is that one of the quick tips that I created a long time ago was I created a secondary Gmail account that my accountant could use to extract all of my financials. So you create a secondary Gmail account. My name is Nicole, so I would call it NicoleTax@gmail.com. And every single invoice, every single receipt, every single expense, everything that I did, I would forward the emails to NicoleTax@gmail.com. I create a folder for the month so that way the accountant could go in. And so when I ran my reports for the platform, I download the reports and email them to NicoleTax@gmail.com. When I would go out and do retail arbitrage and buy something, I would take a picture of the receipt right then, and I would take that, I would forward that receipt image to NicoleTax@gmail.com. I'd write on the receipt first and then forward that the receipt image to Nicole@gmail.com. Anytime I placed orders with wholesale suppliers, or anytime that I had invoices that I received, like purchase orders, whatever it happened to be, I would forward that to NicoleTax@gmail.com. Anytime I bought inventory, maybe I had some inventory, not inventory, supplies, like I ordered something from Office Depot, Office Max, or whatever, I would forward those receipts, or if it was dropped off at my house, like all of those receipts, I would forward that to NicoleTax@gmail.com. So at the end of the month, and when I paid my VAs, I would send the email confirmation to NicoleTax@gmail.com. So at the end of the month, all of that information, my bank receipts, everything would be inside of NicoleTax@gmail.com. And I could go ahead and give my accountant the login ID and password to that email account, and all the information was there. And that doesn't change, having whatever you're using, whether it's QuickBooks or Zoho or whatever you're using, that information is also helpful for your accountant. But having the physical receipts or invoices or whatever available as well, if they need them, makes it easy for an audit. It also makes it easy for reconciliation. Should there be line entries inside of your QuickBooks that are like, something's amiss here. So all the transactions, everything would be recorded there. So that's just a quick tip that I would use, so that way everything was reconcilable versus just having line entries inside of QuickBooks. So just putting that out there. You can, whatever software you're using, having the physical receipts, just in case there's ever a question, is always helpful as well. And so those receipts would always be recorded inside that Gmail account. So the other thing is, in this month end, step 3, is that if you're going to do an inventory audit, I don't know what method of e-commerce you're doing, but at some point, you want to reconcile, review, audit your inventory. Maybe it depends on your e-commerce method. If you're selling physical products and you actually have them in your possession, or you sent them to your prep center, your 3PL, or whatever, you want to at least do a review once a month, so you know where you stand, and you can reconcile with your 3PL or your fulfillment center to make sure you sent in 10, they got 10, we're still good. We didn't sell any of that, or we did sell 10, we sold all 10, and so we have 0, but they say they have 1 on the shelf. It's like, okay, something's off. So some level of audit needs to be happening with your inventory. If you're doing print on demand, or maybe you're doing drop shipping, then there's no inventory reconciliation for you, but you may need to check to see what's available as far as inventory levels with whoever you're using, whoever you're drop shipping with, whoever you're selling products through. So again, doing some level of just checking to see what the numbers are, so you're not caught off guard. If you're using software, then that software will indicate that. But again, going back and just every once in a while, maybe have your VA just check that information. The other thing is any products that you might be selling that have expiration dates. That's something I do at the end of the month. So if there are products that I sell that have expiration dates, I need to go back and check those things. I need to make sure that those things make sure that those things are addressed. You don't want to get in trouble with any of the platforms for selling stuff that's expired or about to expire or doesn't meet the threshold. So if it doesn't meet the threshold, don't get yourself in trouble. Going through, pulling that inventory back if you're selling on Amazon, making sure you're taking those listings down on other platforms, whatever it happens to be, especially if you're cross-listing. So that's an activity that I do in step 3 of this process as well. When the next thing is go through and complete your account or bank or expense reconciliation. Again, downloading your bank receipts, downloading all of those expense things. I gave you that little tip earlier. So downloading that, reconciling that against your QuickBooks or whatever you're doing or using, and reconciling that. The other thing is reconciling your budget. So I mean, you're going to establish today. One of the things your actions is to create a budget for the next month. And to see where you are in the budget that you established for the quarter. So you are going to have to reconcile your budget for the month of May, and you're hopefully today going to establish a budget for the month of June, or at least you're going to put it down. So you do need to reconcile that. You had an amount that's allotted for expenses for maybe ads and promotions. I mean, how much did you actually spend? So go through and just reconcile that to make sure you're not going over your budget. If you're going over your budget, you need to make some adjustments or be prepared to do something different with your business in order to make sure you're not going over your budget. If you're getting enough in sales to be able to cover different things, that's fantastic. But again, establishing a budget as a baseline, just like a household budget. Again, if you're taking in $10,000 and you got $11,000 or $12,000 in expenses going out, you're going to have a problem at some point. You're going to be dealing with overdrafts. You're going to be dealing with all kinds of stuff. So you need to make sure that you're going back and reconciling that information, always making sure that you're profitable, figuring out where your holes, your leaks are. Are you randomly buying stuff? Oh, I wanted that new dry erase board for my office, so I bought one. Did you have it in the budget to buy one, or you just felt like buying one? Oh, I sold all my inventory for this, so I'm just going to go buy it without reconciling and make sure you actually have the revenue to be able to do that, because you still got to pay your VAs at the end of the week, or the end of the month. So make sure you do that. And then you're going to summarize all of the information when you go through step 3. You're going to summarize all of that and you're looking forward. So that's the looking forward section of your My eCom Planner. If you're just taking notes, you're going to summarize it there. So then that way, there are always opportunities to learn a lesson from the month. So whatever lessons were learned after you did all that analysis, you're going to make a note of that. Like, okay, I find that I am spontaneously impulse shopping for little knickknacks for my office or whatever it happens to be. These are things you need to stop. Or I'm impulse buying for inventory that has nothing to do with what the plan was for the month. And so I found a good deal on it and I went ahead and grabbed it. Well, sometimes all good deals are not good deals that you should be taking on, because again, you've got to be able to sell that inventory and you got to be able to sell it for a profit. So knowing your numbers, making sure you can reconcile that. So that's step 3. And again, you may not actually execute step 3 of the checklist until the end of May. So it might be next Wednesday or it could be next Saturday where you sit down and actually go through that and do some analysis. Now, step 4 of the process. Now we're going to go through and we're going to review the previous year's stats. Why are we reviewing the previous year's stats? Is because we want to be able to make sure that we're making good decisions. We're using information to make good decisions. Sometimes when we're selling, if we've been selling for a long time, those of us that have been selling for a long time, we do go back and do some level, to some extent, some analysis of what we know we sold around the same time last year. And what were the things, who was the supplier that I bought that from? And those things sold like hotcakes. And so this year I want to make sure if I'm going to be selling this thing in July, that I order all that inventory now. If I'm going to be selling in August, that I order enough of that inventory now, whatever it happens to be. Now, that may not be enough runway room, depending on whether or not it's something you're importing from across, the ocean, or if it's something that is local, something in the U.S. So again, that's the reason why we go back and we review the previous stats, previous reports, previous data. So how did you do month end? What were your month end results last year for the month of May compared to this year? I'm hoping that your numbers are improving. I'm hoping that the data is better. So we're just going to use some simple math. If you had $10,000 in sales last year, I'm hoping that this year, at the end of May, you have $12,000 in sales. Those are just simple math. We're not doing anything complex here. But if your numbers are going backwards, like you had $10,000 in sales last year, you're putting in the same level of effort, the same level of work, and this year you only made $6,000 in sales. What happened? We got to figure that out, because our goal is not to go backwards. Our goal is to make progress in our business. So we need to know where we stand and what's happening and why we're not making the progress. So comparing last year to this year, what numbers did you beat? What numbers did you meet or match? did something drastically change last year over this year? So, for me, when I went back and I did an assessment, I got to go way back now. I do an assessment for the month of November, not November, September and October. Like I had COVID last year. So when I do my assessment year over year, this September and October, my numbers are going to be way off because my numbers dropped drastically for the month of September and October because I wasn't able to work my business at all. So that's going to be a comparison, but I can justify or explain that. What did you sell that was completely crazy? And if it was completely crazy, if you don't make a note of those things that are selling like crazy, like if it sells like crazy in May, I'm probably sourcing for it or ordering inventory for it in January or February or March. I'm not actually ordering it in May. So this is where we're doing some advanced planning, and we're going to get to an advanced planning step, but we're going to make note of those things that sold like crazy. And we're going to go into my eCom planner and we're going to write down in May, these things sold like hotcakes. So I'm going to make a note that I probably need to order inventory for it in February. I only ordered inventory for it at the end of March, and I probably could have sold way more if I had way more because I sold out. So again, this is stuff you're going to make notes about so that way you can make better decisions when you're sourcing for it in the future for next year. So we're going to make a note of everything that would happen. What happened in the month of May as far as my stats and my data? What happened last May? And was there a lesson learned from last May? What were those hot selling items? Because if we don't pay attention to those things, we got to figure out when we're going to order them in advance, put those listings up, and make those types of decisions, intentional decisions, so that we can have those crazy sales again next May, that our numbers go up exponentially. So we're going to look at last month. We're going to look at the month of May. We're going to prepare for the month that's coming up, but we're just making a note of what those stats are. And we're also going to be thinking about a couple of months in advance. So I'm going to actually look at my stats for June of last year so that I have something to gauge what I'm going to be doing, hopefully, this June. So what was my data? How many sales, how many units did I move? What were the things that were hot ticket items in my mind? Like I'm going back through my orders. Did I already order that inventory for June? Am I about to be surprised? Now, I'm not about to be surprised. I'm just telling you, but you may find that you're like, oh, I guess I don't do that level of analysis. I really didn't think through that. I probably should have ordered the inventory for June in April or March, depending on who your supplier is, or do you have multiple suppliers? And when I find those things that are hot, I will write down if there are multiple suppliers available for it and which was my first top pick for that particular product, my second pick, my third pick for sourcing it, so that way, okay, well, this is the lowest price, so that's going to give me my best ROI. This one, these two were higher price. So if I had to go to them as secondary sources, I could, but where are they located? How quickly can they get me the inventory? What's their volumes that they have available? All that stuff. I'm making notes of all of this information inside of the My eCom Planner. Okay. So I'm going to summarize the information that I did the analysis for what I did last year for the month of May and also for the month of June. I'm also going to review the entire second quarter for last year because I'm coming up on the second quarter for this year. And I want to see what my stats are going to be. The second quarter last year, I had over $100,000 in sales. Am I going to hit that? Am I trending that for second quarter this year? Because we're going into June. If not, I got some ground to make up. And how can I potentially make up that ground? So I'm going to make a note of all of that information inside of My eCom Planner. And that's step 4, which is reviewing the previous year's information. And we're going to compare that to the results for the current year. Okay. It's also going to help us make some decisions. So now we're going through the next section. So all of that analysis was the month-end analysis and review action steps. So now that we have that, those are 4 steps in that action. So now we're going to move into the planning for the new month section. So this is step 5. Planning for the new month is I'm ready to go ahead and move forward with planning for what's about to happen this month. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to review the upcoming holidays, major activities that are coming up in the month ahead. What are those major activities that are coming up? So what are the daily holidays? And so inside the My Econ Planner, I have a daily holidays section that I can go through and review. Inside the My Econ Planner, I've got a monthly holidays section. I got an international holidays section. I've got major events that happen to be happening, maybe local major events. Maybe your city is having its um, like the city fair or local fair, whatever. Um, Maybe your state fair is coming up. I don't know. So what are those major events? What are the national events? What are the state events? What are the international events? Major activities that are coming up. So, I happen to live in the Dallas Fort Worth area. There's a bunch of stuff that happens around here. A bunch of stuff. We have major like conferences, conventions, just major whatever. Every city has a taste of get together. And so people break out their booths, and there's people that are going to be walking through, and people will be selling all their wares, outdoor booths and fairs and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of activities that are coming up, end of sports tournaments, and all of that fun stuff. So I'm going to be planning for all of the things that are coming up. So inside of my econ planner, I'm going to open mine. I didn't pull it up on the screen, so I'm sorry. But for the month of, I'm flipping through it so you'll hear the physical pages turn. For the month of June that is coming up, here's some of the daily holidays that are coming up. So Pen Pal Day. If you're doing print on demand, that's an opportunity for you. Pen Pal Day is coming up. Of course, we know Father's Day is coming up. Juneteenth is coming up. Let's see. Pink Day is coming up in the month of June. Let me just go through them. PTSD Awareness Day is coming up in the month of June. Hug Holiday is coming up in the month of June. So all of these are like, and these are just random ones. I'm not giving all the days because there's a long list of them inside the My Econ Planner, but that's just a handful of them. Okay. For the monthly holidays that are coming up for the month of June, in the month of June, these are some, not all, of the holidays that are hitting in the month of June. So African American Music Appreciation Month. Woo, that's a lot of words, but African American Music Appreciation Month is in the month of June. LGBTQIA Pride Day Pride Month is in the month of June. I don't know if you know that. So again, those are two opportunities for print on demand products, for drop shipping products, for other types of products. ALS Awareness Month is happening in the month of June, or Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month is happening in the month of June. PTSD Awareness Month is happening in the month of June. Suicide Prevention Month is in the month of June. So again, that's a handful of them. That's not all of them. That's just a handful. I mean, that's like, 4 out of, I think there's like 25 or 30 there. And that's just the month of June. Then in the month of June, we have World Environment Day in the international holidays. So again, now I've moved on to international. So we've got World Environment Day is happening in the month of June. These are international holidays. You've got World Teacher Day happening in Bolivia. So we can't assume that everybody that's buying stuff is just all Americans. Like, people come from everywhere. America is a melting pot. So if you're selling products inside the United States, then you want to think about what are those international holidays that people that maybe have migrated here or that are visiting here might want to celebrate in the month of June. So knowing that is a great one. Martini Day is happening in the month of June in Canada and the United Kingdom. That's a great one. That's a great print on demand opportunity right there. And then you got Anti-Drug Day is happening in June in India. So there's all kinds of holidays that are coming up. And that's just me flipping through the My Econ Planner that happens to be on my desk right now. They're in there. So you can Google, what are the major events that are coming up? What are the major activities that are coming up? And then all the basics that we already know that are happening in the month of June. And we're going to make a note of those activities, events, and we're going to put that into my looking forward section of the My Econ Planner. Okay. Or your notebook, if you got a notebook. Okay. So make a note of that. Step 6. Now we're going to do some deep advanced planning. We're going to be doing some planning for the next 1 to 5 months. So as I mentioned back before, like when you're preparing for the month that's coming up in June, hopefully, depending on what method of e-commerce that you're doing, you actually ordered, researched, found, sourced that inventory in advance. So, like I've said before, for Mother's Day, you're not ordering Mother's Day stuff on Mother's Day. You're not listing Mother's Day stuff on Mother's Day. You're actually ordering that inventory at least 3 to 4 months in advance or 2 months in advance. So there's some advanced thinking that has to be done here, some advanced planning. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to think about the entire month of June, but we're also going to think about July, August, September. And we're going to plan for what were those sales, those products that were sold that were hot. What are those activities, events that are coming up in those next 4 to 5 months that are going to be major? So June, July, August, September, might as well throw in October because that's the beginning of Q4. What inventory do I need to be researching? What inventory do I need to be sourcing? What are the things that we're selling? So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do some analysis. And I'm going to look at what are the holidays that are coming up from now until October. What are the daily holidays, monthly holidays, international holidays? What are the major events? What are the major activities that are happening for the next couple of months? And I'm going to summarize that information in the looking forward section so that way this is inventory as I prepare to put together my plan for the month of June. This is inventory I'm going to source in the month of June. Some of it I'm going to acquire it, I'm going to order it, I'm going to whatever, I'm going to budget to maybe be able to buy it, or I'm going to plan to list it. Okay, because some of the things you may need to create listings for. So we're going to populate that in the looking forward section of your eCom planner. And then step 7 is I'm going to go and look at my stats. So I'm going to determine not to look at, but based on the information that I have used in the past, I'm going to establish some stats, some goal stats for the new month, for the month of June. So I'm going to establish some listing goals. How many listings do I want to create in the month of June? And again, this is going to be based off of your e-commerce method. If you're doing private label, maybe you have a singular private label product. And so it's just a matter of making sure you have enough quantity ordered or en route or whatever for the month of June. For others, there may be more to this level of analysis. So what are your listing goals? So if you want to create 300 listings in the month of June, or you want to create 1,000 listings in the month of June, then that's going to give you some daily goals that you're shooting for, right? So 1,000 listings, divide that by the number of days in the month. There's 30 days in the month. That's going to give you your daily goals. This is the number of listings I need to create every single day if I want to have 1,000 listings created by the month of June. What are your sales goals? What are you shooting for as far as sales in your business? Reworked listings. So, there's some listings that we reevaluate. Maybe you've already created draft listings, depending on what method of e-commerce and what platform you sell on. You may already have draft listings out there. So these are just listings you need to release in the month of June because you've already sourced for the inventory. You've already validated it with the supplier, blah, blah, blah. And then how many hours do you really want to work in your business? So the month of June is going to be, for some people, a summer break. It's a time for them to go on family vacation. So if you have a family vacation plan for the month of June, your work hours for the month of June may not be a lot. For me, we're going to be going on vacation in the month of June. We go every year to a special needs camp as a family. And so my stats are going to be down during that window. So what I do is I prepare for that, making intentional decisions by creating or having draft listings that I can release while I'm on vacation. That's one. But 2, a lot of the stuff where it's required for me to be in front of a computer, I got to have internet access. I can't guarantee I'm going to have that where I'm going. I make sure all of that work is, as much as possible, is done at least a few days before I get ready to go on my trip. So I'm increasing my workload throughout the month maybe by an extra hour every day or an extra 30 minutes every day. So I'm padding that time because I know I'm going to be down for at least a week. Okay. So keeping that kind of stuff in mind as I go on this journey of making some intentional decisions in my business. So, what are the stats that you're looking to establish for yourself, goal stats for the month of June? Write that down. You're going to put that in the looking forward section. A good thing to do is to evaluate what you did for the month of May, or look at what you did for the month of April. What were your total listings for the month of April? What were your total sales for the month of April? What were your number of reworked listings for the month of April? Like, this is just some of the random stuff. How many hours did you work in the month of April? If, since we're not at the end of May, you can have a full month that you can use as an evaluation or jumping off point. If you already know what your numbers are going to be by the month of May, then you've already got this data and you can establish your numbers for the month of June. But you should have monthly goal stats that you're going to shoot for every single month. Step 8 of this process is now we're going to go through and we're going to review the lessons learned that we documented and the looking forward section. So the section that I really want to emphasize is step 5 and step 6 of this journey. Those two are extremely important. This is where when people are like, oh crap, I wish I'd ordered an extra 200 of that. Or, oh crap, I wish I would have found a secondary supplier for that. This is where you have those opportunities. Or you just maybe just skipped your mind. You go, oh crap, I forgot that I sold those last year and I probably should be selling those again this year. So going through and really doing some advanced planning, step 5 and step 6 is extremely critical to your future success. And then be thinking about, again, this quarter, this entire quarter. You're at the end of June, at the end of this month or the end of June. You will be at the end of quarter 2. You're going to be going into quarter 3. So you will be establishing some quarter 3 goals. So again, you've got to make June count. You got to see where you are in your quarterly stats. So let's just, again, do simple math. Let's say that your goal was for the month of April to have $10,000 in profit. Month of June, $10,000 in profit. The month of month of May, $10,000 in profit. The month of June, $10,000 in profit. So your entire quarter was $30,000 in profit. That was your goal. Okay. But you got to the month of April and you had $6,000 in profit. And then you got to May and you had $5,000 in profit. So now you're at $11,000. So if you're trying to get to $30,000, you got $19,000 in profit that you got to try and produce in the month of June, or you got to reestablish that new quarterly goal. So if you're trending and your numbers are going down, you're going to have to make an adjustment to whatever the quarter goal is, or you're going to have to put in extra effort. If you have the ability, the capacity, the bandwidth, and the resources to do that. If you weren't, necessarily paying attention to that, this is where you're going to go back and you're going to pay attention to that kind of stuff. Whereas maybe, again, going with that $30,000 in profit for the month, for the quarter, if your goal in April was, again, 10, 10, and 10. So April, you hit 15,000. May, you hit 15,000. And so you've already hit your 30,000. So everything that happens in June is gravy. Now, this is the kind of, these are the kind of stats that I love, because in the month of June, everything that you take on for the month of June, since you met your goal, and that goal, again, pertains to whatever your year-end goal is, because you're going to have goals for every single month and every single quarter. And if you're trending well, you can use that money as a buffer. So anything that I make in the month of June, I may actually put that aside in the hopper. So I have that as a buffer. That may allow me to scale up on ads. That might allow me to scale up on inventory. That might allow me to scale up and hire another VA, or to plan for, maybe 2 VAs for Q4. So I am going to make a note of that. I'm going to hold all that money and set it aside, because I've already met my goals for the month of June. And that may allow me the flexibility to make better decisions in Q3, or it may allow me to make better decisions for Q4 because of the fact that I'm trending up. Okay. And it also, here's the deal, I may have established goals that were too low, because sometimes that increase in profit may also mean that there was an increase in expenses, because just, so my expenses are probably going up. All shipping is going up, all supplies are going up, inventory, the cost of inventory is going up. And if I'm still ahead of the game, that's awesome. That is awesome for me, especially if I'm finding hot things to sell, or I have hot things, popular things that are just moving. The sales velocity of those products are great. So be aware of what's happening in your business and see where you are for the quarter. And it may either require you to make some adjustments, it may require you to hustle harder, it may require you to get the kids involved, or it may be something as simple as I have a surplus and I have to make some decisions on what I'm going to do with this surplus. Okay. Because, July may end up being completely horrible. So that surplus is going to help me to sustain or meet my goal for the year. So I'm going to hold that and set that aside. All right. So we've gone through step 5 and step 6. I'm going to encourage you to spend as much time as possible on step 6. And then also going through step 7, step 8 of this process is to thoroughly, go through your lessons learned section and you're looking forward, because you made a lot of notes in your looking forward section. Okay. You're going to use that to help you make your decisions about what the priorities are going to be for the month of June and what the goals are going to be for the month of June. Okay. That's what we're using that information for. And then step 9 of the process is that you need to develop your budget. You need to start the process of looking at your budget for last year. And if you don't have one, okay, fine. So you have no baseline to start with. So you need to establish a budget for the month of June. You might use what your budget was for the month of April or the month of May as a baseline, as a starting point, and then make adjustments from there. Okay. So for me, the month of June, I know that my expenses are going to go up as far as any inventory that I order, because of the fact that, back to school is happening. I actually started ordering back to school in April, just so you know, but I'm also preparing for Q4. So I know that back to school sales are going to continue for me for all of the part of the month of July, all of August, and part of the month of September. Then I'm also going to get some sales boosts from, the other activities that are happening in September, October, and November. You got elections that are coming up at the end of the year, or, uh, and so that's the stuff that, I'm paying attention to that. So I'm making sure I have inventory for that. I'm making sure I have inventory for any of the other holidays and events, because again, depending on your e-commerce method, you may care about that stuff. If you're selling replens or you're selling consumables, then you're going to start paying attention to the fact that most people right about now are like, there's a whole bunch of family reunions that are happening because they've held off for the last 2 years. And so people are traveling. So any travel related products, if you didn't already list those, I would have started listing those in March, knowing that people have, completely decided that they don't care about COVID. And they're like, I'm going to go spend some time with my family and friends. I love my family. I miss them. I haven't seen them, blah, blah, blah. So they're going to go spend some time with people that they love and that they care about. So, ordering that inventory for luggage, for travel, those are the things that were already on my list of products to source for in the month of February, so that way I would have them in time for the month of May, because people travel naturally when school is out and they start that process of traveling. So I already had that on my agenda. I know that those are products that I'm going to sell in the month of June. People are buying those things so that they can go on vacations. They're buying those products so they can do all that stuff. And they're getting together for weddings that were put off, family reunions that were put off, girls' trips that were put off, graduation celebrations that maybe were put off, 50th birthday, those people that had birthdays that hit a threshold, 30, 40, 50. All of those things are happening this year. So there's going to be a lot of entertaining products, related to entertaining, outdoor entertaining, indoor entertaining, that people are going to be buying. A lot of products that people are going to be buying around cooking and preparing food and socializing. Those are things that are going to be being sold. And so I know that for the month of June, those are the things that are going to be selling like crazy. So in my planning for the months that were coming ahead, I thought about that in February. I thought about that in March, and from a sourcing standpoint. So that's how you use that advanced planning information to make some decisions. So now that you know that, what are the things that you could be ordering in the month of June based on your statistical data from last year? If this is your first year, you have no data. So you can go look at a calendar, or you can get that my eCom planner, flip through those, figure out what the holidays that are coming up. What are the things that are coming up that are going to cause people to continue to get together? Now, I think this whole getting together thing is going to continue through the end of the year. Like, it's going to literally have a blitz. It's going to, there's going to be a lot of getting together through the end of the year. So I think it's going to be crazy for the month of June and July. And I think it's still going to be crazy in August. I think people are going to find a reason to continue to get together in September. They're definitely going to be coming together in November and December. So some of the things around indoor entertaining, some of the things around sourcing, like I'm going to continue to source some of those products. You can also use Google Trends if you don't know to use that, to go out there and look for what are the things that people are searching for in Google. So it'll give you some statistical data as to what people are searching for. People are looking for luggage. They're looking for carry-ons. They're looking for whatever. If people are going to do the road trip thing versus getting on a plane or a train or whatever, or a boat, then they've got to, prepare their car for that. And so maybe those are products you could be selling. So I get all kinds of product sourcing ideas from this exercise. I'm going through and thinking about the next couple of months, at least anywhere from 1 to 5 months in advance, so that I can begin the process of sourcing. And so I make all of those decisions on what I'm going to source. I put that in my June calendar. So now let's go ahead and let's actually get ready to build out the June calendar, since we've done this analysis. So the next major section, again, you can download this document from the e-commerce planning Facebook group directly, and you can go to the file section and go to download the monthly planning section, monthly planning session. I can talk. So the next major section is to create your new month plan. Dun, dun, dun. So step 10 involves a bunch of sub-steps. All of step 10 is sub-steps. So the first thing we're going to do in step 10 is we're going to pull out our personal, our work, and our online calendars. Why do we care about that? Well, I mean, you could have a personal calendar where your mom is coming the second week in June, or your grandma's coming the third week in June, or you're going on vacation the fourth week in June. And so these are things we just need to make sure that we put into the My eCom Planner. So pull it out and write it in the My eCom Planner. Okay. Is there something going on with work? Maybe, you've got a major deadline, depending on what type of job you do. Maybe you got a major deadline and your work calendar for the month of June. You need to be aware of it. Maybe your business partner is going on vacation, and so you need to be able to cover their duties. So you need to make a note of those things. So you have it in your online calendar, and you're going to write it into your actual My eCom Planner. Okay. If you got the digital version, you can type it in. And maybe there's some personal things, like maybe you have some doctor's appointments that are in your online calendar, dentist appointments. Maybe there's some back surgery, anything. We're going to make a note of those things that are happening in our personal life, in our work life, if you still have a job, and other calendars. Make sure you add all of that to the My eCom Planner calendar section, so that we have those blocked. Now, this is what I'm going to say. On the My eCom Planner, I'm going to encourage you to write those on lines 1 and 2 of each individual week. So lines 1 and 2 of each individual week. That's where you're going to note that kind of stuff of what's happening, so that all of that you're going to use to make a decision on what are the weekly goals as we start to incorporate our personal lives into this calendar. The step 10B of this process is we're going to add any major personal, like anything that's major with our life. Like I said before, you got dentist appointments that are coming up. Maybe you're meeting with a nutritionist because you got to make some lifestyle changes. So you figure in June, you're just going to go ahead and you have that appointment coming up and you got to get those things done. Maybe you're meeting with a financial planner. Maybe you're putting together your will this year in the summertime and you're meeting with an estate planner, or you're meeting with someone to get more life insurance. And you already knew that it was like you've already put it on your calendar. It's just coming up in the month of June. Those doctor's appointments, we already know that most doctor's offices are backlogged, like ridiculously backlogged, because everyone is going to the doctor in 2022. They just decided, I haven't gone to the doctor for the last 2 years. I'm going to go ahead and get those appointments in. So maybe that appointment that you scheduled back in February, where they said your first opening is in June, you're going to go ahead and put that on the My eCom Planner calendar pages physically. So you know on that day, you have to go to the doctor, or this day you go to the dentist, or this day, whatever. Okay. So all of your personal stuff, if your church is having VBS, Vacation Bible School, you're going to put that on the My eCom Planner, because you may be taking your kids to VBS, or maybe you're volunteering. These are things you're going to put on the My eCom Planner. So we're going to get all of the stuff from our online calendars and all of the stuff from our personal life. And we're going to add it to the My eCom Planner. We're going to fill in rows 1 and 2 of each individual week with this personal information. Okay. Kids going away. I got one kid that's going away to KAA, Kids Across America church camp for 1 week. I'm excited. I'm like, yay, down to one kid. All right. So now that we've done that, we're going to pull out that looking forward section, and we're going to fill in the information that we know about that's coming up in the month of June, or the things that we need to do in the month of June. And we're going to populate that from the looking forward section into the actual physical calendar that's inside of the My eCom Planner. So the My eCom Planner has 5 rows for each week, 5 rows going across. And so when I say row 1 and row 2 for each individual week, that's where you put your personal stuff. Now we're going to put all our business stuff on rows 3, 4, and 5 of the My eCom Planner, so that way I can start incorporating that stuff. So if you have monthly goals for the month of June, we're going to add those monthly goals. We're going to add the activities for the month of June into the My eCom Planner. So when I say goals, let me just scroll up just a second. Yeah, we're going to establish our goals in just a second. Add your goals, okay, to the My eCom Planner. So we're going to pull that out, and we're going to get ready to add these things. We haven't added them yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is, we built a weekly template. We do this weekly template exercise every single week. It's every Saturday. You can join us on the weekly planning. Since we know in the month of June, we have really 3 full weeks in the month of June. If you go look at a June calendar, you have 3 full weeks. You've got a partial week for the first week, and you got a partial week for the last week. But for the month of June, you got 3 full weeks in the middle. So I love it when you have full weeks, because it's easy for you to put stuff on the calendar. So when I look at the My eCom Planner, I have 5 rows. 5 rows for the month of June. Since the first week is not a full week, it starts on Wednesday and it goes to Saturday. That means I have 4 days I can work with for the month of June. That might be where you close out May in that first full week. And I'm going to think about, what are the other things that I need to do in that first full week of June. So in that first full week of June, that might be when I'm hiring my VAs. I will tell you, I hire VAs to work with me. I train them in the summertime so that they're ready for Q4. I actually saw a guy at the store yesterday at Walmart that looked like he was getting his team together of high schoolers, that he was walking them through a Walmart. Like, you would think, okay, why do I have to walk you through a Walmart? Because as a retail arbitrager, you shop a different way. You don't shop like everybody else. So you shop a certain way. And I saw him bring his team in, and he was talking to them. Okay, now we're at Walmart. So I'm guessing he took them to a couple of other stores and gave them some tips on what they need to do in each one of these stores when they're sourcing for him. So I do the same thing. So in the month of June, I could put the first week, which is not a full week, a partial week, on my eCom Planner on line 3. It's like, okay, I need to find or post to hire my high schoolers, or, post to acquire my VAs for the summer, my assistants for the summer. So I would put that down so that I can begin the process in week 2, which is the first full week of June, training them, taking them out to the store with me. Let's do an exercise where we actually do some sourcing and you get the idea of the sourcing, okay? And what it takes to do sourcing. So I'm going to pull out that calendar for that purpose. What are the activities that I'm actually going to be doing in the month of June? So I know in the month of June, I have inventory that is coming in for back to school. So I'm going to have to be checking in that inventory, and it's probably going to arrive in the first full week of June. I'm going to need resources to be able to work on that. So in the month of June, I'm going to put in week 2, the beginning of week 2, that inventory, my back to school inventory is coming in. I might also place some additional back to school inventory orders for those that I know that are quick hits, where that inventory is only going to take a week or 2 to get here. Because maybe in the second full week of June, I'm actually going to make sure that I create the listings for my back to school, or I'm going to make those listings go live. So I might spend the first full week of June ordering additional inventory and creating those draft listings for back to school. Then the second full week of June on my eCom planner, I'm going to use that week to actually make my listings go live. Because for those that don't know, the schools are literally going to be sending parents emails all summer long saying, we got to get prepared to go back to school, guys. They're going to start sending them emails at the end of June. So you get free advertising, free reminders to your target audience of what action you want them to take, which is to buy back to school crap. So we don't just talk about school supplies. I'm talking about everything from hats, socks, underwear. Like there's going to be an abundance of products that are going to go up in sales. They're going to be buying jackets. They're going to be buying scarves. They're going to be buying shoes. They're going to be buying socks. They're going to be buying shirts, shorts. They're going to be buying all kinds of stuff. So it's not just that. They're also going to be buying those things that they need, like, skims or covers for their laptops or their phone covers. They're going to get their kids' phones. And so then they're going to need phone accessories. Like all of that stuff is happening. So back to school for me is not just school supplies. It's the whole gamut of things that parents would potentially buy for their kids, or college students will potentially buy for themselves, or parents will buy for their new college students that are going off to college. So I'm going to, in the month of June, create those listings and make those listings go live. Okay. And you want to have those listings created before the actual sales or influx of sales start. That is a strategic decision. Okay. That's a strategic decision so that you can get those sales. All right. So then the next thing is think about the other things that you're planning for the month of June that's coming up. You could be planning for, all of the gatherings, get-togethers. So maybe in the month of June, your inventory is coming in for, outdoor entertaining supplies that you previously ordered a couple of months ago. Or maybe it's the travel supplies or travel inventory that you ordered or that you did research on the previously. Or maybe you're doing drop shipping for those products. And so now it's time to create those listings. So again, for the month of June, I could be using the first partial week of June is to create those listings. I can put that on my list of activities in my business. This is the what that I am doing. I could put it on my calendar to create those listings for the outdoor entertaining. That could be any number of things for outdoor entertaining or indoor entertaining or group entertaining. So again, what am I selling in bulk or large quantities that people are going to be buying? Okay. So putting those things together, putting them on my calendar so that I have actually built out what's happening in every single week in my business in the month of June. These are the intentional decisions that I'm making in the month of June when it comes to inventory, when it comes to sourcing, when it comes to creating listings, when it comes to administrative activities in my e-commerce business. I'm using the weekly template to take those actions. So I believe that every seller, there's some basic activities, regardless of what e-commerce method that you do, that every seller does. Every seller creates listings. Every seller does. You got to create listings. And there's all the subtasks that are associated with listings when it comes to title and description and price and shipping and photos and all of that stuff. Okay. Every seller does that. Every seller has some level of a shipping component to their business. So they're either their inventory is being shipped to them, they're ordering inventory to be shipped to the customer for, drop shipping They're sending it off to a fulfillment center, so it's being shipped from there. Like there's a shipping component to your business, whether you're physically doing it or somebody else. That is part of this e-commerce journey. Every seller has a customer service component to their business, no matter what. That's reviews, that's feedback, that's customer questions, um, that's refunds and returns. Like every seller has to deal with that. You should have administrative tasks that you have to deal with in your business. Every seller should have that. So again, going through that process and making sure that the products that you're going to be sourcing, the activities that you're going to be taking in your business are aligned with what you're actually doing. If you're a person that's like you have a niche, maybe it's baby, maybe it's toys, maybe it's maybe it's household goods. Again, there's some activities that you're going to be doing in the month of June to set yourself up for success in the month of July, August, September, and October. You're going to take those actions in June. So you might be ordering inventory in June, maybe the second full week in June, that inventory is actually going to be used for Q4. You might be ordering inventory in June or sourcing inventory in June that you're going to maybe buy that inventory doing product research in the month of June, and you're going to be ordering that inventory in the month of July so that you have it by the month of, October, whatever it happens to be. So think about those product research activities that you need to be doing in your business in the month of June. Think about all of those sourcing related activities, things you need to order and buy in the month of June that maybe you're going to sell later on. You're going to sell them later. Thinking about those listings that you need to create. Maybe you already have the inventory in-house because you've already placed the orders. You already did the product research in February. You placed the order in March. Now it's time to make those listings go live. These are all the actions and activities, and this is the what that you're doing every single week in your business. When are you making back to school listings go live? When are you making, outdoor entertaining listings go live? Whatever the product is that you're selling, whether it's in pets or whatever, when are you making those listings go live? Put that on your weekly planner. Okay. Your monthly planner. All of that goes on the monthly planner. Use your weekly template as the baseline for where you're putting it on the actual physical days of your planner. All right. Then the next thing, so there's a lot there with that sub-step of the weekly template. Now we're going to go through and we're going to look at the goals for the month. The goals for the month are extremely important. So for the month of June, what are the top goals that you need to focus on? For the month of June, your top goal is to make your back to school listings active. Period. That is the top goal. You can't sell if you don't make the listing active. Period. You can't sell. So that's my top goal, one of my top goals. So I'm going to establish 5 top goals I'm going to establish my top 5 goals for the month of June. What are the top things that I either need to source, that I need to do product research on, that I need to list, I need to sell? Maybe there's some setting yourself up for the future. So for me, one of my top goals is making sure that I've hired at least 2 high schoolers to train over the summer to work in my business in October. Again, that's a top goal for me. I might put that under admin, ops, and VA monthly goals. But again, it's in my goals for the month. So figure out, based on every decision that you plan on making in the month of June and the activities and actions that you need to take in your business in the month of June, what are those top goals that you need to establish for the month of June? These are goals that you're going to monitor every single week to see where you are on this journey. So you're going to monitor to see if I am where I need to be in my business. If one of your top goals is that I need to create 1,000 listings in the month of June, that's on your top goals. Create 1,000 listings in baby in the month of June. Create 1,000 listings in, pets in the month of June. Maybe you're splitting it up, whatever that happens to be. Okay. If one of your top goals is to get X number of dollars in sales, so if my top goal is to make $30,000 in sales for the month of June, that's fine. Put that as your top goal. Or $50,000 in sales, put that as your top goal. So establish your top goals for the month of June. What are your targets? What are you shooting for? What is a SMART goal that is specific, measurable, achievable or attainable, realistic or relevant, time bound? You only have the month of June to accomplish it. So write that down. You got 5 places for top goals in your My eCom Planner. The next is your income producing monthly goals. So I know that creating listings is an income producing activity. So I'm definitely putting down, my goal is to what? Create 50 listings a week or 200 listings a week or 500 listings a week or whatever, because that's an income producing. What are the actions I take in my business that actually generate me money? Creating listings is the number one thing that generates me money, period. People cannot buy what they cannot find. Now, as an income producing activity, maybe one of my goals is to get better at keyword research. I might want to put that on there because I need my listings to be found organically. Or maybe one of my income producing goals is to do more cross listing or social sharing. So to, increase my social sharing across the platforms. So I need to be specific. I can't be vague and say, okay, my income producing goal is to social share, share my listings across platforms. No, we're going to be specific here. How many are you going to shoot to share every single day? Every day, I'm going to share 5 listings across platforms. That's very specific. 5 times 30 is 150 listings. Now you have a goal that you're shooting for. Okay. So we're going to be very specific on what are the income producing goals that we have. Another income producing goal is maybe you are ordering, 200 whatever for Q4. You need to place that order now, because especially if it's coming across the ocean, it's going to take forever to get here. That is something that's a goal, because that is going to produce you money later on. So you need to create the templates, maybe create the draft for that listing, but you need to make sure you have that inventory because it's going to sell. All right. And then admin and administrative activities, VA activities, like goals for the month. So hiring 2 VAs that you want to have fully trained by the end of the month of June. So you want to hire them by June the 10th, and make sure that they're trained by June the 30th. Okay, that is very specific. 2 people. You have a training window of 20 days. Got it. Okay. You do have some specifics about what skill set they need to have and what, you should already have that job description written out. But the point is, it's a goal. Other types of goals, like if you have VAs that you are doing your product research for you, or they're going through and they're using the tools that you've purchased. Maybe you've got Tactical Arbitrage, Helium 10s, Jungle Scout, whatever tools you're using. Then, maybe you have them increase their span of the product research that they're doing from whatever window that they currently have set. And we're going to change that in the month of June to expand it for, another 8 weeks out or whatever. So they're going to change their search view, whatever that happens to be, because you're trying to get some information on statistical data. Or maybe you have them start using Keepa in the month of June so you can start ordering inventory for the month of September. These are all tools. So again, going through and setting some intentional goals, some intentional actions that need to happen in your business. Have my VA use Keepa 5 times a week or 3 times a day or whatever. Do a Keepa search 3 times a day for the entire month on a specific product, and have them give you that data back so you don't have to do it. Not that you don't want to. Okay. And then your marketing and traffic, I listed before, like cross listing, cross sharing. That's extremely important. Making sure your listings are shared across platforms and things like that. The other thing, so figuring out, how many ads, am I creating ads every single day? Am I creating sales, creating a sales promotion every single day? Because for some platforms, that actually is a way to get regular recurring sales on a regular basis, because you're putting one thing for sale every single day in your store. Just so you know, that's a little trick. So some platforms that will actually help you get regular sales every single day, no matter what. So taking that action of doing that, or maybe you're doing paid ads. Maybe you want to get better at PPC. Maybe you want to get better Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads. So I think, as part of the monthly goals for ads and traffic or marketing, one of the things that I put in there is education. So I'm going to be intentional about the month of June. Every single week, I've allotted an hour for whatever, getting better at Facebook ads. So if I've allotted an hour for getting better at Facebook ads in the month of June, I want to make sure every single week, I want to make sure that by the end of the month of June, I see a marked improvement in my Facebook ads results. So my goal is to improve my Facebook ads results by 10%, maybe, or 50%. I'm not going to be overly aggressive because, again, I'm spending 1 hour a week. But my goal is to get better at Facebook ads. So if I make the intentional decision to get better at Facebook ads in June, get better at Instagram ads in July, get better at Google ads in August, get better at YouTube ads or Pinterest ads in September, how are all those actions, those intentional actions, going to impact my results that I get in my business in the Q4? Even if I only improved, I only got 10% better, that's extremely big and that's extremely important. Getting 10% better in each one of those areas is definitely going to have a positive impact on my business when it comes to Q4. So again, we're making intentional decisions about the business. We're making and taking intentional action. We're setting intentional goals and going through that process. And when I talk about activities, actions that are coming up, like, all the movies, you got all these summer blockbusters that are coming up, guys. Okay. Summer blockbusters are awesome. Because there's so much income potential there that's already established for you because of all the marketing that they do. Okay. So they're doing some of the heavy lifting for you. All you have to do is just make sure your listings are up. Okay. Depends on your e-commerce method. Maybe that's for you. Maybe it's not for you. That's always been a moneymaker for me because I do bundles. And so it's always been a moneymaker for me. So I can always count on summer blockbusters. So I do my research for summer blockbusters during our annual eCom planning session, which is at the end of the year. And I go through and I do the assessment of what's coming up for the next year. Now I will tell you, with COVID, everything kind of moved around, but I pay attention to it. So I have like Google alerts to pay attention to when the release date is changing so that way I know what the new release dates are for stuff. But again, that's one of the things that I take intentional action and make intentional decisions about, is being aware of those types of things. Uh, so the big things that are happening, like, okay, last year was Summer Olympics, and then you had the Paralympics, you had the Winter Olympics, like all of those things that matter. You got elections that are coming up this year. All of those things are intentional decisions. People started buying flags and stuff it was red, white, and blue. I started placing my orders for that kind of stuff in February because I knew that they were going to be buying them because of all local elections, all statewide elections. Then you've got the big national elections. So paying attention to that election cycle, and then also the fact that people will be buying flags for Memorial Day. You don't list them on Memorial Day. You actually order and make sure you have a supply of those things prior to Memorial Day, right? That's the reason why we're doing the whole 5 months in advance. Same thing with Labor Day. Same thing with elections. Like, people are going to be buying that red, white, and blue. And so for me, the year that we had the Olympics, there was an abundance of red, white, and blue available. And so I made sure that I snapped up as much of that as possible so that way I could use that for this year when I knew this year was going to be elections. So that kind of stuff, like making those types of decisions, I put that kind of stuff in my planner. So I need you to go establish what your top goals are for the month, your income producing goals are for the month, what your admin or operations or VA related goals are for the month, what your ads or traffic or marketing related goals are going to be for the month. Be specific. Don't be vague. Don't be generic. Be specific. And then in your monthly plan, make sure that you've identified where you're performing some of these actions so that way as you go through your weekly plan and you set your priorities for the week, you know that this week the priority is back to school listings. This week the priority is whatever it happens to be. So you know what the priority is for the week in advance. So I think, I want you to add any other remaining major holidays, events, or activities on line one of your econ planner, because you're spending, you're spending all of the lines. You're using all 5 of the lines on the actual planner itself. And I'm gonna let me see if I can show my screen. Let me go find while I am doing this, I'm gonna stop sharing for just a second, maybe. Nope, actually, let me see if I've got it. I do. All right, that's what we're gonna do. So while this comes up, I'm just going to reset the room for just a second. So my name is Nicole Whitlock, and I'm with eCom Sellers, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to be productive, to be successful, to make progress, to get themselves set up for success, and so that they're not frustrated. Um, my goal is to help you to make really data-driven, intentional decisions about your business and on your e-commerce journey. So if you need help with that, I encourage you to sign up for a free planning session with me, or just a session so we can go through your stuff. You can schedule a session by going to ecomsellers.com, clicking on freebies, and scheduling a free 20-minute coaching session where we can just kind of lay out the foundation of where you want to go in your business and what you're doing in your business. If you don't already have one, I encourage you to grab My eCom Planner. You can get the digital version or the physical version of the planner. It is created for sellers by sellers, and it is specifically designed to help you to be successful on your e-commerce journey. So I am going to go to the month of June. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, so this is June, and I'm showing my screen inside of the eCom Sellers e-commerce planning Facebook group. Okay, so inside the e-commerce planning Facebook group, you can see like we've got, when I say top goals, this is where you're writing your 5 top goals for the month. We also give you a list of common products that are sold in the month of June. This is where you're writing your income producing tasks, the goals for the month, and then your administrative goals for the month, and then your marketing ads and traffic related goals for the month. You've got 5 lines or 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You actually got 6 lines. So, your top line, you can write out your whatever major holiday or event that's coming up. Lines 2 and 3, as I mentioned before, this is where you're going to be putting your personal related stuff. So anything that you found on your online calendar, and then all your business stuff, you can put those on lines 3, 4, and 5. These are actions or activities you're taking in your business every single day in your e-commerce business. So, grab the My eCom Planner. You've also have a little bitty place for notes at the bottom, but use this to help you prepare for success in the month of June. Fill it out, do some planning, do some assessing on what you did for the month of May and what you did last year, and use this to help you to make some decisions in your business. So I hope this information is helpful. I hope that you come back and listen to the replay. I hope that all of this made sense. And again, my wish, my prayer, my goal, my hope for you is that you will have an extremely successful, highly productive, and very focused day today. You have a blessed Memorial Day weekend, and that you will use this information. If it's helpful to you, please share it out, and you'll use this to help make some data-driven decisions in your business. And for that, we'll say goodbye for now. Bye, guys.